get started. I am working with an injury, because of course I am, right? So we're going to see if we can. I'm going to see if I can keep this up off our arms today. We'll see how that works. I'm sure we will. But if we do anything that's on our wrists, you'll see me use my forearm, which is always a great way to modify any kind of pose that doesn't feel good for you in the wrist, is to just go down onto your forearm. So that's something to keep kind of in the back of your mind. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Thanks, you guys. We're gonna find a nice, easy seat, and we are keeping with our theme of, oh, there go the dogs. We're keeping with our theme of stress management, right? And yoga to help us de-stress, and talking about how forgiving yourself and letting yourself have a little bit of space to make mistakes can be very good for stress relief. So let's find our seat, bringing your hands anywhere on your lap that feels good. Maybe tucking your chin towards your collarbone, perhaps allowing your eyes to close. So this is time that you've set aside for yourself, so you might as well become completely present here. We're going to work into our breath. And by work into our breath, I mean just pay attention to it. So let everything else start to disappear and just focus on the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice how the whole body becomes involved with breathing. The chest will rise, ribs will expand, shoulders come up closer to the ears. And then as you exhale, perhaps there's some deflating, maybe some ease into the pose. So I like to think, when I'm working into breath, I like to think expand on the in-breath. So maybe expanding in height, expanding in the ribs and the torso, making space. And then relax. So hold your height, hold that frame, but relax into it. Expand and relax. Best way to manage stress right here with the breath. We're going to move with our breath. So starting to add some gentle movement, let's go ahead and interlace the fingers in front of you, turn the palms away, and then push out from the hands as you exhale and tuck the chin, round through the back, creating a little C curve in the spine here. And then as you inhale, lift the arms up, maybe creating a little bend in the elbows here. Exhale to push away. So you're actually decreasing the space, right, when you exhale. And then as you inhale, you're creating more space for more air, more oxygen. Exhale to round. Inhale to lift. So keep that lift, let go of the hands, and then just bring them back behind you. So you can interlace your fingers behind you, or grab onto opposite elbows, or if you're really advanced in your practice, you might do reverse prayer behind the back. Wherever you end up, just take a few breaths here, opening up the shoulders. So feel the shoulders peeling back, sitting up nice and tall. Notice how maybe some tightness in through the shoulders will draw your breath a little bit shorter. So push against that tightness. Inhaling, pushing out, and then exhale. If you're really open through your shoulders, that's great. Maybe don't feel this quite so much. Beautiful. And then go ahead and release the arms, bring them around in front, and we're just going to counter that, so that opening here. So we're just going to slide the right arm underneath, the left, and then bend the elbows and maybe bring the backs of the arms together. Or if you're really tight today, you can just take that kindergarten hug, grab onto the shoulders here, and expand through the upper back. So it's the same shape, whether you're hooking the fingers here for this eagle pose, or if you grab opposite elbows or opposite shoulders. So I want you to pull the shoulders apart, doing the opposite action of what we did earlier. Good, and then just so that we can get the other side, we're just going to switch. So whatever arm was on top, so it was my right arm underneath, left arm on top. Now it's left arm underneath, right arm on top. So nothing changed except for the orientation of the arms. Very nice. Good. Go ahead and release that. We're going to come down onto the back and open up the hips a little bit. So find your way onto your back, letting yourself be nice and heavy here. And let's find our figure four. So cross your right ankle over your left knee, reach through between the legs, and then maybe grabbing on top of the shin. This is a little bit more challenging. So maybe grabbing behind the thigh might be a little bit better, or even grabbing onto your pant legs. So wherever you are. And then I want you to use that right arm to push into the right leg and open up that hip. Good, and if it feels good to kind of rock a little side to side, you absolutely can do that. You can rock, or if you like the stillness, you can do that too. It's your practice. I'm just here to offer a suggestion. Good, and then go ahead and release. Bring both feet to the mat, and we're going to just take a gentle twist. So left leg comes down to the mat. The right leg is going to kind of float in between, kind of in the air there. And bring your hands to your belly so that you can tune back into that breath. Relax the shoulders. So there's a time and a place for those really intense workouts and a time and a place for slowing it down a little bit. Neither is better, right? They're just different. It's like you tell your kids, if you have kids, you tell them, I don't love anybody more than the other. I love you all the same in your own way. Perfect. And then go ahead and lift those knees back up. Let's cross the other side. So bringing the left foot over the right knee and then finding that figure four. Maybe rocking a little side to side. Using that left elbow. So if you have the space, you might even grab that, push that left elbow into the left knee. The forearm goes right across the shin there, and then just find a little bit deeper stretch in that left hip. Maybe. It's up to you. You don't have to. Entirely whatever feels. Good, and then go ahead and release. And we're going to take both feet to the mat again and just take that gentle twist to the other side. Cool. Nice. Go ahead and unravel, unwind, and however you want. So if you want to roll over to the side to find your way up, or if you want to rock and roll, we're going to come all the way up, actually make our way to a forward fold here. So walking the feet towards the top of the mat, letting the head fall down, the crown of the head reaches towards the floor. Maybe nod your head yes, shake your head no. Relax your hands. So your hands can come all the way down onto the mat if you like, or you can grab opposite elbows like we did earlier, bend the knees, lift the tailbone, and make kind of a tiny little ball here. Forward folding, looking, if your eyes are open, you're looking right between your knees, probably. Maybe if you're a little taller than me, I guess maybe you're looking through your calves. And you're probably feeling a nice pull all up that back side of the body. That's perfect. It's exactly what we're aiming for.
One more breath. Exhale everything out. Bend the knees slightly and then reach the arms nice and wide. We're going to lift all the way up. Find your way to the top. Press palms together at the top. Take a nice little back bend here. So push into the feet. Lean back. Hips come forward. And then we're coming right back down into that forward fold. Let the hands drape and float to the floor as you melt down. If you like, you can even let them come up overhead. And then we're going to stand up, bend the knees, reach up, lift up. So a couple times just like that. Bending down, letting the arms straight, and then inhale, reach all the way up. And then the last one, exhale, bend down, let the arms drape, and then reach all the way back up. Bring palms to the heart center. Maybe the thumb snuggles in to the sternum there. Fingers splay wide. Close the eyes. And now let's find our base and our feet. So eyes are closed. I want you to just feel around until you find all four corners of those feet pressing into the mat. Lift the belly up and in. Tailbone is going to reach down the back, and you can put a little bend in the knees if that helps you find that spot. It's okay to be easy with yourself, right? So it's okay to not go 100 miles an hour. Setting your intention for whatever it is that brought you to your mat, whatever you need the rest of this class to be. Next, inhale, reach the crown of the head to the sky. Let the arms follow. Maybe you look up, find that back bend, turn the hands out and fold down over the legs. We're going to come into a nice low lunge. Step back with your right leg. Right knee comes to the back or to the mat, and then left hand, maybe both hands come to the front knee. Or if you're a little bit more advanced in your practice, you're going to lift those arms up overhead and sink low down towards the mat, reaching long. So this is a great place to bend the elbows and find that nice big stretch here. If that's not really feeling good, you're still just going to reach up. Perfect. And then we're going to bring that right hand down next to the left foot and open the left arm up towards the sky. If you're more advanced through your practice, you're going to lift that right leg behind you. Otherwise, keep it down. It's a nice stretch if you keep that leg down. Perfect. Both hands come down either side of that front foot. Lift the knee off that back leg. Step forward into your forward fold. Root down through all four corners of the feet. Sweep the arms nice and wide and lift all the way up. Press palms together. We're coming right back down into that low lunge. Hands come down, left foot steps back, left knee comes to the mat. Both hands come either to the right knee or reach up overhead. Or bend the elbows, grab opposite arms overhead. Sinking nice and low here. You want to root down through that front heel. You might even lift your toes off the mat so that you can feel what it feels like to be secure in the heel. Nice. Release the hands. Left hand comes down. Right hand comes up. Find that twist. Again, if you did it on the other side, that left knee is going to come off the mat. If you have a shiny surface to look at, you want the right hand to be right over the left. I say that and then I make sure I'm doing it. So the right hand is right up, the left hand is way down. Beautiful. Both hands come together at the top of your mat. Step forward. Let's rise up nice and slow. Palms reach out and up. Press palms together overhead, and then bring both hands to heart center. We're going to step back into a warrior one. So we're practicing a lot of stepping back for functional movement. Right foot steps behind you. Plant that foot down. Same thing, arms reach up. Inhale, lift. Nice. So you might hang out right here. So bend into the knee, look up. Very good. If that's too much, the hands are going to come to heart center. But if you can, reach the arms up. It really helps you to get that nice long line. And then from here, we're going to straighten that left leg, reach towards the front of the room, and then hinge over that left straight leg. So you can fold down over that leg, but if you're not quite there yet, you're just going to bring your hands to your shin or maybe to blocks either side of that front foot.
We're going to practice a little bit of balance. If you're on carpet or a really thick mat, this is a little bit tricky. We're going to bend into the left leg, float that right foot off the mat, and then maybe float the hands to heart center in your warrior three. So square off your hips, reach that right leg behind you, and reach your arms out in front perhaps, or maybe hold them right underneath your heart. You can also put them on the floor. Nice. All right, remember which leg is back. You know I get lost. That right foot is going to step next to the left, melt down over the legs, grab opposite elbows, and find that nice forward fold. Super stretchy here today. Sweep the arms nice and wide, root to rise, press into the mat, sweep them all the way up, press palms together. Hands come to heart center, practicing that functional movement, stepping back. Left foot is going back this time. You're planting that foot. It's heel to heel alignment, or a little bit wider. Oops, as I fall over. You're going to square off your hips and sink down nice and low. Reach the arms all the way up. In a warrior one, you almost always have to step that hip out to the side. So that left foot is going to go wide. You're on railroad tracks. Maybe sink a little bit lower. Maybe push into that pinky toe side of that left foot. Straighten the right leg, hinge from the hips. Reach first, so a little bit of core work here. And then fingertips come to the mat. You're melting down over the right leg. Bringing your nose to your shin. Taking a few breaths here. Melting down. Crown of the head is long. If you're not that stretchy yet, your hands are on your thigh or on your shin, or maybe one on each. The key here is a nice flat back. So rocking forward, using the left foot to push you forward enough to bend into that right knee. Walk the hands just in front of the foot, and then float that left foot off the mat, and then maybe the hands follow. Coming to heart center. Square off your hips. Look down directly underneath your nose for your balance. Arms can come out to the side. They can reach overhead. Overhead is going to be the most intense. So if you fall out of it, just forgive yourself for it. It's not the end of the world. It's just practicing balance. Nice. And then let's go ahead and stand all the way up. Bring that left foot down. Reach both hands up. Enjoy that nice stretch. And then hands come to heart center. Adding on, we're going to step the feet out as wide as your mat. Toes are going to turn out. So I'll turn so you can see, but you guys stay right where you are. So you're going to turn your toes out. Your heels are in. And if it's in your practice, you're going to squat down between the legs. Now this is a little bit intense, so you have options. You can keep the feet facing forward, and you can come to an athletic squat here. Same thing. Or you can always lift the heels off the mat and come up a little bit higher if you're tight through the back body. So what we're really getting into here is the heels or the hips. So wherever you end up. Again, there's no wrong answers. It's just yoga. Hands to heart center. We're going to, again, functional movement. So we're going to bring the fingers to the mat, lift the tailbone up, turn the toes so that the feet are parallel to the long edges of the mat, and fold between the legs. Inhale, half lift, turn the toes out, the heels in, sit down, find your way back into that squat. It's probably a little bit easier this time. Let's fold, hands down, turn the toes, melt between the legs. I'm going to turn here so that when we move, and then come all the way down, sit down, hands to heart center, in between. Nice. Now you can use your hands to help you. We're going to step back with that right foot coming right into a low lunge. So the hands are in between legs. You're stepping that right foot back. We're in a nice low lunge here. This is a lizard shape. And then from here, we can rock a little side to side. If you know that you have the room, you're going to lower that right knee and maybe bring your left hand to the left knee for that full lizard. Standing up on your arm is too much, or you have the space, you might come down onto your forearm. This is a really good hip opener. Hips are where we hold all of our stress, right? In this psoas muscle. So if we can stretch those out, then it feels really nice. Beautiful. Both hands come down underneath the shoulders. Put that left foot back on the mat. Lift the right knee. We're going to step right back into that goddess squat. So garland pose, we call it. Right foot comes forward, squat down at the top of the mat. Nice. Let's give the hips a break. Find that forward fold. Fingertips come down. Spin the edges of the feet parallel to the mat and then melt down between the legs. We have to do both sides. Otherwise, we walk in circles all day. So let's go ahead and turn the toes out, heels in. Sit down into your garland, your yogi squat, hands to heart center. So the more you rock back into your heels and push the hands into the elbows and lift the heart, the more you're opening your hips, and it's also core work here. So hands come down. Just to give you balance, we're just going to step back with that left foot, wave up, nice, and then maybe the knee comes down. Turn that right foot out and then open up the hips. So it's a nice big hip opener here. Maybe look towards that back foot. If you came down onto the forearm on the other side, you might do it on this side as well. Whatever feels right. You can always bend that back knee too and open up that back quad if you know that pose. Good. Now we're going to take advantage of these nice stretchy hips here. So bring both hands underneath the shoulders. Walk that right foot back onto the mat. So all four corners of that foot. Curl the toes under on the left foot and step back. And then we're coming right onto the knees and sitting back into our child's pose. So your knees are nice and wide here. Your big toes touch and you melt down between the legs. So I'm not coming all the way down because then you can't hear me, but you're going to walk your hands forward. You're going to bring your forehead to the mat and tuck your chin in towards your collarbone. If you're still too tight and that doesn't work for you, you can stack your hands, like the fists of your hands, and put your forehead on top of the fists. Or you can just kind of float in the middle. Wherever you are, we're going to take about 5 rounds of breath here. And then let's go ahead and start to walk the hands back towards the knees. You can stay right where you are on the back of your mat. Just bring the knees together. And we're sitting in now our hero pose. If your knees don't appreciate this pose, you can sit up on a block. We're going to work into the ankles a little bit. So using your right hand on your right knee, just float that knee off the mat. So you can see that I'm using my left hand to hold the bulk of my weight here, and I'm just rocking back with that right knee. Don't forget to breathe here. This is excellent for your ankles. And then go ahead and place that knee down. Grab the left knee with the left hand and then slowly. So you're just pulling enough so that you get a stretch in that ankle. There's nothing to be gained by pulling that knee all the way into your chest, unless you need that stretch, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of hanging out right here. So we worked our ankles in 2 directions. Perfect. All right, hands come to the mat. You saw this coming. Curl those toes under and then sit back onto those heels and let's roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. The head comes down, the tailbone comes up, and then roll up a little bit at a time until you're standing at the back of your mat. Hoo-wee. Nice. Reach the arms overhead, press palms together. Take a little back bend here, and then melt down between the legs. And then walk your hands out into a nice long plank shape. So you're in your
top of your plank, your push up. We're not going to do anything more than this, but we are going to hold this for 3 breaths. So again, if you don't want that weight on the wrist, you come down onto your forearms here, and this is the same shape. You just want to make sure that you bring your butt with you if you come down low. So wherever you're at. Beautiful. And now from here, we're going to find our way to a downward facing dog. Tailbone comes up and back. The feet halfway up the mat. And then walk the hands back to meet the feet. And then sweep the arms nice and wide as we stand up. Ooh, nice big stretches here. Nice. Hands come to heart center. Good. All right, we're going to try that warrior 3 one more time. So we're just stepping back with your right foot about halfway back the mat. And hands come to hips to start. Hips are both square. And we're going to hinge as we float that right foot even with the hips. So the more you bend into that left knee, the more stability you'll have here. Hands come right underneath the heart. If you're like, oh, this is doing nothing for me, if you're not wobbling all around, then you can reach the arms out either to the side or in front of you. Nice. And then we're going to bend that left knee and step that right foot down. Windmill the hands open. Now we're in our warrior 2. If you need to adjust because you're kind of sliding off your mat, you have longer legs than me, go right ahead. Right knee, nope, left knee is bent, and the left arm is forward, right arm is back. Right foot roots down into the mat. Sink nice and low. Good, look out over that left hand. Hinge from the hips. Reach forward like you're trying to move that left hand past the left toes, and then slide that left finger, those left fingers to the mat, right hand up. Extended side angle. You can always put your elbow on your knee. Nice, beautiful. Find your way back to that warrior 2. Look over the front hand, and then windmill all the way down next to that front foot. Step forward. And then rise up. Sweep the arms nice and wide all the way up. Press palms to heart center. Ooh-wee, nice. All right, we're going to try that the other side. Same exact thing. You're going to step back as far as you can with that left foot. Maybe just the toe on the mat, hands to heart center, or hands to hips. Make sure your hip points are pointing towards either edge of the mat there. And then as you hinge forward with the shoulders, it's like your heel is attached to your shoulders with a board. You're just going to teeter-totter down. Any placement with the arms, maybe reaching overhead, maybe bending slightly into the right knee. Maybe the arms reach. Bend that right knee, step that left foot down, and then windmill open warrior 2. Right hand forward, left hand back, sink nice and low. Look out over the front hand. Sink a little bit lower, maybe. Really open up into the hips. We've got some good stretchy hips today. Let's reverse. Inhale to sweep back, and then bring that right hand down either to the knee or all the way to the floor. Left arm reaches up. So again, if you have that shiny surface, raise that left hand right over top of the right. Sink. The lower you get into the hips, the closer the floor comes. If you're finding that, oh, that's just not working for me today, hang out here in this extended side angle. Warrior 2, right arm forward, left arm back, and then windmill all the way down. Hoo-wee, we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. So we haven't been here for very long today. Both feet are about hip width. Head is super heavy. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. Push your heels down towards the mat. Maybe bend the knees and lift the tailbone a little bit higher. Push away from the hands. Heels start to work slowly back towards the mat. So this is a full body stretch. A lot of times we use this as a resting pose, but it is in fact a nice stretch. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and bring those knees to the mat and find our way to our tabletop shape. So hands and knees, hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. We're going to take a few rounds of our cat-cow here. So just like when we started, push into the mat, round the back, tuck the chin. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the head. Exhale, round, so you're flowing through your breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. And then inhale to lift.
So we're going to work into the shoulders here. That right arm is coming underneath the nose. Left arm is going to sweep up and open. We're going to thread the needle underneath and come down onto that left shoulder. So the left shoulder comes down, the left side of the face comes down, and the right hand is going to reach overhead or wrap around the back. So it's up to you, wherever you want to put it. Hips are even here. So if you notice that you're kind of becoming the leaning Tower of Pisa, and kind of square it back off again. So if you have the bind with that top hand around, you're actually opening both shoulders in different directions, right? Go ahead and bring that right hand back to the mat. Push into the heel of the hand to sweep the left arm up and open. We're coming all the way up. Find that twist, and then the left hand comes down. Let's take that, thread the needle on the other side, left hand underneath, right hand reaches up, scoop underneath, reach for the opposite side, and come down onto the right shoulder. Maybe the left arm reaches forward. Maybe the left arm sweeps around. Take the bind if you did it on the other side. Let your eyes close. Don't forget to breathe here. Bring that left hand back down, right underneath the shoulder. Sweep the right hand up and over. Hands, oops, my camera froze. Walk your hands forward until you come all the way down onto your belly. We've got one more stretch for the shoulders. So I'm going to go to the left first so that you can kind of see what it looks like. The left arm is going to reach out. So make sure that wrist, elbow, and shoulder line up. The hand is down on the mat. The fingers are splayed nice and wide. Right hand comes underneath the shoulder, and then you're just going to start to open up. So stacking your hips, maybe bringing the right foot to the mat here. Head can come down. So this shoulder opener is really great. If you've had a frozen shoulder, or you're working with PT, just make sure that they're okay with this kind of move before you go into it. But it's great to open up those tight shoulders. And now you're using this right hand to control how much you actually push, how much weight you put into that right hand. Maybe keeping the feet stacked, maybe not coming quite so deep into it. It's entirely up to you, whatever feels good. You can do this against a wall too. Go ahead and unravel out of this shape, and let's go right to the other side. So same thing, right arm reaches out nice and long, left hand comes underneath the shoulder, and then you're just going to rock the hips on top of each other. Head comes to the mat. You can stack your hips, or I like to place my toe on the mat. Maybe let the eyes close. Good. Go ahead and unwind, unravel. Coming back onto the belly. I'm just taking a nice little back bend here. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Your feet are on the mat. The elbows squeeze back, and then lift the head, heart, and the shoulder. So maybe just a tiny bit. So teeny tiny little bit is a cobra. If you come a little bit higher, that's actually a big cobra. And then if you want to come all the way into your up dog, you're going to lift the hips off the mat. Just depends on how much you need to bend into the back here. Then come all the way down. Let your hands come down by your side. Turn your head towards one side and just melt down onto the mat. Let your arms be heavy. Take a couple breaths here. Turn the head the other way. Enjoy that stretch on the other side. And then from here, it's up to you. Because of my camera angle, I'm going to just flip towards the back. If you are happy with the way you're facing and just want to roll over onto your back wherever you are, you go right ahead. Doesn't matter how you get there, just come on down to the back. We're going to revisit that sequence we did at the beginning to see if anything's changed. So pull that right knee into the chest, keep that left foot on the floor, the knee is bent, and then extend that right leg long towards the sky. Nice. Now from here, you're going to bend the knee, place it over, the ankle is over the left knee, and then let's find that figure four. It's probably a very different figure four from the one we did in the beginning of class. And we're going to take a deeper version of the twist that we took at the beginning. So bringing this right foot to the mat here. So you can bring the left toes down to anchor you and then just spin that foot towards the mat. I like to grab onto my ankle with my left hand and reach the right arm out, and then that deepens the twist. Look out over the right shoulder. So if you find that this shape is just not comfortable, you can come back to the one we did at the beginning, which is both feet about hip width, and then just slide the knees over towards the left. So it's up to you. Neither one is wrong. Both will do the stretching, I promise. You can use that bottom leg to kind of anchor that twist and deepen it for you. Look out over the right hand. Go ahead and unwind, unravel. Just gather up both knees, rock a little side to side to find your kind of center here. Right foot comes to the mat. Extend that left leg nice and long. Find that nice stretch here. Now, your stretch might be here. It's entirely up to where you feel that you need to go with it. And then we're going to cross that ankle over the knee and find that figure four. And then let's take it into that twist. So the right toe comes down, the left foot comes to the mat on the right side. Use your hand or whatever, maybe that bottom leg, to deepen that shape. Reach the left arm out long. Look over the left shoulder. So for me, this is the only shape that gets into kind of this flank area, like that lower quadrant of the back. Go ahead and unwind, unravel. So taking any shapes that you kind of need to get the fidgets out, and then eventually heading towards our final resting shape. So reaching your legs long down the mat, take up space, right? If you've got the space, take it up. So maybe the heels are on either corner. Maybe the arms reach out into a nice wide Y shape. Wide Y, say that again. And then relax the shoulders, melt down. So this feeling of taking up space can be very liberating, can be empowering. And then close your eyes and let go of your whole practice. So forgive yourself for maybe not achieving the poses how you'd like them to. Maybe your practice wasn't quite what you intended when you came to your mat. Beginning to bring movement to fingers and toes. Maybe rocking the head from side to side. Finding your way towards one side or the other and pausing there. Let your head rest on your arm. The knees might bend and come up towards your body. And then using your hands to help you, finding your way all the way up into your seat. So any seat that calls to you. So maybe sitting here in your Sukhasana, we call this easy pose, or your crisscross applesauce. Shoulders are relaxed. And just take stock. Take stock of how you feel now at the end of your practice. Perhaps you feel alert and stretched out. Maybe you're ready for afternoon nap. Whatever your practice has cultivated for you, I want you to steep in that for a moment or two. So what is the feeling, what is the sensation that you have the most of right now?
No. It is. I'm good, Jill. How are you doing?
Very good. And then go ahead and bring hands to heart center, maybe bowing your head slightly. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. Have a fabulous rest of whatever your day brings. Namaste, yogis.